our primary sanctuary law, we are only really supposed to be reporting on what agencies report to us, how many requests they receive from local law enforcement, from federal law enforcement, and whether they have responded. And we do more than that. We actually we reach out to agencies, we talk to them about the incidents that have occurred, and we have helped many agencies write their own policies on local law 228. So that is what we do on sanctuary city laws.
So, Ms. Engel, are you the only person that engages in this work?
No, I'm not the only person, I'm the primary person.
Primary person.
Yes.
So how many staff do you have dedicated to doing this work?
So the entire policy team at Moya that is dedicated to doing this work, and I think that's what, 5 people or something like that, 5 people.
5 staff, thank you. So can you tell us, does Moya have regular meetings with the NYPD, the Department of Corrections, and the Department of Probation on detainer requests?
So we have had meetings with all 3 of those agencies, and we have advised them on their policies on specifically on local law 228. We helped write NYPD's policy. We also gave advisement to DOC several years ago, but before I was at Moya, I think it was of similar variety. And then DOP is among the agencies that we have sent emails to reminding them of their obligations under local law 228.
So how many times in the last year has Moya met with, have had hard touches with each of those 3 agencies?
I would say that it's been the most probably with the NYPD because we significantly changed their policy under their request. But then I would say so several times with NYPD, and then in terms of DOC, mostly in the form of phone calls and trainings, and with DOP, not as much because DOP receives very few requests from federal immigration enforcement.
I think you don't have an exact number, but you can find out.
Okay. In terms of the policies that you're helping to develop at each of these agencies, how much element within that policy deals with accountability for following those particular policies?
So we do make clear that, and this is what we sent out a memo to all of the agencies, making clear their obligations under our sanctuary city laws. But when we help write the policies for agencies such as NYPD, yes, we do ask them to be included in there that you must report to us. You must be honest in your reporting, and you must report to us on a quarterly basis every interaction that you have had with federal immigration enforcement.
And do you have periodic touches throughout the year around that report?
So that report is, we actually, it's on a physical quarterly basis that every agency in the entire city has to report to us any request for assistance from federal immigration enforcement.
And how does the agency ascertain whether that report is accurate?
So we actually do get calls from agencies saying, do you think this counts as a request for assistance from federal immigration enforcement? I talk it through with them, and then, consulting with the other individuals on the staff, we decide whether it does count or not, and then put it in the report.
Okay, I think we'll circle back to this line of questioning. Does Moya have a point of contact for immigration attorneys and public defenders seeking to prevent the transfer of their clients into federal immigration custody?
I'm going to say that, no, that's the moment.
Does Moya think that this would be a good practice?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I do want to clarify, we often receive requests through our constituency services hotline.
Commissioner, can I ask you to speak louder?
Oh, I
into
said
the
we,
mic?
sorry.
Thank you.
We do often get requests from attorneys and the community as a whole, and members of our legal services team do field many requests for assistance, whether it's letters of support and so forth. So in practice, we do have a robust constituent services team who engages on a day-to-day with these requests.
So let's walk through the robust, whether it is in fact robust. Tell us what happens when people call either 311 or are asking for legal assistance?
So as you know, much of our work at Moya happens through our contracted nonprofit providers. If someone does call 311, they will be referred to one of our contracted nonprofit providers or to the General Moya hotline or to the Moya Immigration Legal Services hotline, where they will be assisted with their particular questions and requests. We have an external affairs team that both does the direct outreach and also the constituent services work that also is there to respond to any questions that may arise. Again, you know, as I shared in my testimony, we are in the process of establishing immigration legal support centers in immigrant communities so people have access to these services directly where they live. The existing legal services program has a hotline that people will receive information and referrals to providers, and there they will receive the assistance that they may be looking for.
What kind of assistance? It sounds like it's mostly referrals. Is there actually any substantive assistance that is offered to people?
Yes, we provide significant immigration legal service assistance, and we do this through our contracted nonprofit providers. So we outsource this work to.
So your referral is primarily your referral. It is, you're not providing the legal. You're not taking the case at Moya and providing the direct legal services. It is purely referral based to the providers that you contract.
Yes, we do have a number of different legal services programs throughout the city. Those that we manage, we do not do in-house. We outsource and contract out to our legal service providers.
Okay, and so both hotlines are primarily referral is what you're doing. And people call within initially referring them to the agencies that you contract.
Yes, I mean, it's important to sort of help people navigate and clarify their questions, and then we refer them to the appropriate agency or partner.
Okay. In terms of, I think we'll definitely circle back on this. In terms of local law 186 of 2017, Moya is supposed to regularly convene with the interagency task force, which you noted. Can you describe how many times the task force has met since Mayor Adams took office?
Yes, and I would add, this is something that Rebecca also takes a lead. Rebecca has quite wide experience working on these issues, including issues on to do with our sanctuary policies, both in the nonprofit and government space. So I'll let Rebecca talk a little bit more about this, but just to uplift the work of the policies and further.
الراجل اللي اتكلم في السيتي هول ده بالنسبة لو جرافطة ده عدى الحدود تهريب.
And I'll jump in first, Rebecca. We don't have the full numbers of the last 3 years, but we have the numbers since March 2024, which is when Rebecca started at her office. Since March 2024, we've met 6 times, and we are now meeting monthly. And that's sort of a habit that we got into at the end of the last year, given some of the changes that we're predicting with what's coming.
And are all the task force members participating?
So they attend, and there's a list of agencies that are required to attend, and they join our meeting.
And they're attending?
Yes.
By mandate, we are supposed to meet quarterly. There is a list of mandated agencies. However, we've opened it up to all agencies to appoint a liaison to attend these meetings. And between
يا ريت كل عام سبسكرايب للسنة بتاعتنا على اليوتيوب فرس بالله
meetings, there is constant